So let's study heredity revision sheet. So there is a quick revision of all the things we have studied from the textbook. So first we can deal with the traits. What are the traits? Trait means it is a specific characteristic feature of an organism. For example, height, eye color, blood group. So here in the image you can see the height is a specific trait of the giraffe, right? Yes. What about eye color? Eye color, we have seen the different types of eye color, the brown, blue, black, like that. That is also a special trait. What about the blood group? A, B, AB, or all these are specific trait or the specific character of an organism. So we can say the traits are superpower or the specific characteristic feature of an organism. Now next is allele. A variant or alternative form of a gene are called the allele. So means there is some alternative form of the gene. So tall, short. So that is a change, slight change in the form of the gene. Now next is dominant and recessive traits. Dominant trait means expressed even if only one allele is present. So the trait that is expressed always we can call the dominant trait. So if when we are studying the Mendel's experiment, we can see tall. The tall, even though there was a crossing of the tall and the short, the tall was expressed. So that which is expressed, we can say that is a dominant trait. And in the first progeny, the first generation we saw capital T, small t. And the small t, that is a short, was recessed. It was not expressed. So that is a recessive trait in the F1 generation. And if the short, when we can see the TT, small TT, that is a short, it is expressed only when both allele are recessive, right? So we can see in the example. So here, this is a F1 generation, right? With a capital T, small t, capital T, small t. But here, the capital T is the expressed one. That means this is the dominant trait. And even though all of them have the small t with that, small t is not expressed. Why? Because there, the capital T is the dominant trait. But when the short feature is expressed only when both of them are recessive. Both of the allele are same, right? So in this case, then only it is expressed. So that means when is the recessive is expressed only when both alleles are recessive. So that is the meaning of the dominant trait and the recessive trait. So this is an example of the tall, round and the short wrinkle. So here the dominant trait is tall, round and the recessive trait is short, wrinkle. So that which is expressed, always expressed, is dominant trait. Okay. That which is expressed only when the both allele are recessive, that we can call the recessive trait. So that is the dominant and the recessive trait. Okay, what about in this case? This also we studied the violet flowers are crossed with the white flower. The result was the violet flower. So violet is the dominant trait though. And what is the recessive? White. Even when the violet flower, this one is self-pollinated, we got 3 violet flower and 1 white flower. So here the 3 violet flower is the dominant trait and the 1 white flower is the recessive one. Now next is heredity. Heredity is the transmission of the trait from parents to offspring. Okay, so the giraffe, the parent giraffe and the small giraffe, baby giraffe, both are similar. So there is a transmission of the trait. That's only why the baby is looking like the parent, right? In animals as well as the human beings like parent like child. Why? Because the transmission of the traits from the parent to offspring happen, and that transmission is called the heredity. So giraffe baby is not looking like a monkey. Why? That is the transmission of the trait from the giraffe parent to the giraffe baby. So the traits are passed from parents to babies or offspring. So the traits passed from parents to children through genes. So how these traits are passed? So traits means a special character. How these are passed? These are passed through genes. So a man give rise to a man. That means human being give rise to human beings. Animal. Like this happening is due to traits, and these traits are passed to children through genes. Genes are the units of the heredity. So we told the heredity is passed through genes. Genes are present where? Chromosome. So the heredity is the transmission of the trait. The trait is passed through genes. Genes are present on the chromosome. So this is a cell. Cell has the nucleus. Nucleus has a chromosome. And nucleus has a gene. And the genes are present on the chromosome. The chromosome has the genes. Each gene controls a specific trait. For example, in this image, here the red hair trait, that is controlled by a hair color gene. Okay, so different colors of hair, different eye color, different blood groups, all these are controlled by the specific gene trait. Now next, chromosome. So we studied heredity, trait, gene. Next is chromosome. Chromosome are thread-like structure present in the nucleus. Okay, so like this, thread-like structure present in the nucleus is called as chromosome. And human have 23 pair of chromosome. So total 46 chromosome, and they are like pairs, 23 pairs of chromosome. One chromosome of each pair come from mother. So one among pairs, one from father, one from mother. One chromosome in each pair. So 23 pairs are there, and one come from father, one come from mother. Now, Mendel's experiments. Gregor Mendel is known as father of genetics. He studied the inheritance in the pea plants, and he studied traits like tall or short, round, wrinkled seeds. We can see all this. Okay, so Mendel's experiment. First is the monohybrid cross. A cross involving one pair of contrasting trait, that is tall, short. So he was first studying the tall, TT, and TT short. Okay, so tall and short. So it include only the height. Okay, that is tall or short. That is a cross involving one pair of contrasting trait. That is, so the study of this one, TT, contrasting trait, is the monohybrid cross. Now, the first experiment was tall plants versus short plants. This is based on height. So first he crossed TT tall and small TT short. So what was the F1 generation? F1 generation, there was a capital T and small t. So capital T is the dominant trait. Small t is the recessive trait. So when the small t will be expressed only when both of them are same. But when there is a dominant one, it is always expressed. So in this case, the capital T is the dominant trait. So F1 generation is showing only the dominant trait. And what is the dominant trait here? It is a tall. Tall trait is the dominant. And then what he did, he again crossed the F2 generation. So first it was a cross pollination. Cross pollination means it was short and tall. Both two different category. They were pollinated. So the normal is tall into tall, but here it was cross pollination. So then the offspring is all tall, but it is what? Two traits are the capital T and small t. And that one, the F1 generation, capital T, small t, was self-pollinated. Self-pollinated means similar plants are pollinated. But what is the result? 3:1. 3 were tall and 1 was short. And why 3 were short? Even though the tall 3, there are 3 tall 1. The first is capital T, the other two is capital T, small t. Why the small t is not expressed? Because the capital T is a dominant trait and small t is a recessive trait. But the short one, why it became the dwarf or short? Because both of them were small t. And the ratio 3:1. Okay, so this is tall plant into short plant. There is a cross pollination. The next then this is the F1 generation. Self pollination resulted 75% tall, 25% short. Now next is he done again the monohybrid, that is violet flower plants versus a white flower. How the color change? He want to study about the color change. Now the F1 generation. So first he did what? Violet versus white flower plant. So what happened? The resulting was the violet flower. Violet LLA. Here what we know, the violet is the dominant one. And the F2 generation, again the self-pollination of the violet obtained from the cross-pollination of the white and violet. What was the result? Again 3:1. 3 is the violet flower, 1 is the white flower. Now dihybrid cross. What is this dihybrid? 2 character, more than 1. Here it is tall, round. Height is the shape is also the. So tall, round, capital T and capital R, short, wrinkled. Small t and small r. Now, here what happened? In the Mendel's dihybrid cross, what they did? Tall, round seed, cross-pollinated with short, wrinkled seed. Again, the result was which one? All tall and round. So, tall and round is the dominant trait here. Recessive trait is short, wrinkled. Okay, so here F1 generation is all tall, round. Now, the F1 generation is pollinated. So, this is a F1 generation. Here, what is the result? 9 tall and round. So, how we are taking from this T, capital T, small t, capital R, small r is the trait. No. So, from that, we are taking 2. So, these are the combination. And how we can cross TR, TR, and TR, TR. Like this, they are crossing. So what is the outcome? Here we are getting 16 plants, and out of the 16 plant, 9 tall and round. Okay, so 9 tall and round means here we have all of them capital T and capital R. That's why all became tall and round. And in tall and wrinkle, so to be wrinkle, there should be 2 small r. So we can see all of them have 2 small r. To be short and round, short means 2 small t and round is 2 capital R. And to show the recessive, all the recessive feature, all should be recessive trait 1. So here we can see small t, t small r, r. Hope you got this. So any doubt you can just comment. So here what is the ratio? 9:3:3:1. Here we got new generation. So first we got only tall, round and short, wrinkled. But in this case we got 2 more variation. Which are the variation? Tall and wrinkled as well as short and round. Now next he again did round yellow seed plants versus wrinkled green seed plants. So here the shape and color. Before we studied what? This is height and shape. Here it is shape as well as color. Again here what he did? Round yellow crossbreeded with wrinkled green. What happened? Again, it was round yellow because round yellow is the dominant. So, F1 generation is round yellow. All were round yellow plants. And again, the self-pollinated. F1 plants are self-pollinated. So, this is the round yellow. So, it is cross-pollinated. Again, what is the ratio? Self-pollinated. Again, the ratio is 9:3:3:1. 9 round and yellow, 3 round and green, 3 wrinkled and yellow, 1 wrinkled and green. So 9 will be what one? 9 will be dominant, 1 will be recessive, and the new variation is 3 and 3. Clear? Now next is genotype and phenotype. What is genotype and phenotype? So genotype is the genetic makeup. So PP, the capital P. And here this is small pp. The purple one is both capital P, small pp is white flower. So that is the genetic makeup. The capital TT, capital T, small t, small t, small t. All these are called as the genotype. What about the phenotype? Physical appearance. Here, tall or short, right? So what we see, that is a phenotype. And what is the genetic makeup? That is the genotype. So why it appeared tall? Because of the gene, and that is the genotype. And what it appears when we look, that is the phenotype or the physical appearance. Now acquired and inherited traits. Inherited traits are passed from parents to offspring. We already studied the eye color, attached a free earlobe. Okay, so most of them, the earlobe difference, the eye color, blood group, height, all these are the inherited trait. Most of them are passed from the parents to the, all the inherited traits are passed from the parents to offspring. Acquired means you learn them, you keep them. They are developed during the lifetime. They are not inherited. So acquired traits are not at all inherited from our parents. During our lifetime, we are learning karate, dancing. All these are not passed on, right? We do a ear piercing or nose piercing, and we color our hair. All these are we are doing through our lifetime. It is not passed from our parents. Okay, so that is acquired trait. What we get from the parents, that is the inherited traits. Okay, so eye color means when we born, our eyes color, there will be a definitive eye color. Blood group, that is not, we cannot change our blood group. So that all are inherited, whereas acquired, what we are adapting after we are born. Okay, so that is acquired. So difference we can say, inherited traits is passed from the parents to the next generation, whereas acquired is developed during an individual lifetime. And how the inherited traits are transmitted through genetic material, through DNA, we are getting all this inherited trait from our parents. Acquired means they do not alter the DNA. So the traits, they are not altered by the, do not alter DNA. And so these traits are not passed to the next generation. We are not passing. So a person with when he learned karate, okay, he's a newborn is not having the karate capacity. He may learn later in the life. But what about his eye color or blood group, like that? Blood group that cannot be changed. Okay, or hair color that cannot be changed. So the inherited trait are passed from parent to next generation through the DNA, whereas acquired trait are acquired or developed during the individual lifetime. So acquired trait, example, dancing. Okay, a baby grows and become a child and learn dancing. Muscle body, ear piercing. A newborn is not getting an ear pierced. Later on, only he or she is piercing her ear. So that are acquired traits. Now, sex determination in humans. So I already told human have a total of 46 chromosomes and they are arranged in 23 pairs. And most human chromosomes have a maternal paternal copy. So we already told one among the pair of the chromosome, one chromosome is passed from the father and one from the mother. And 22 such pairs are common. But if we are giving the same, we are getting the same from father and mother, how can we a boy or girl be born? So one pair, 22 pair are same, but one pair called the 6 chromosome is odd. It is not always a perfect pair. So 22 pair of chromosome, they are called the non-sex chromosome or autosome. One pair of sex chromosome, that is XX for female and XY for male. So one is odd. And women have perfect pair of sex chromosome. So women means both the both pair is X. X is for women. But for men, they are a mismatched pair. One is a normal X while other is a short one Y. So men have a mismatched pair of chromosome. So women are XX while men are XY. So who has the odd pair? Odd pair is for men. So how? In human beings, sex of the child depend upon whether the paternal chromosome is X or Y. Okay, so if XX, that means it is a girl. XY, Y indicates it is a boy. So who passes this Y chromosome? Father. So child sex depend on the father's chromosome. If the mother is always giving the same chromosome X, son or daughter, girl or boy, mother is giving equally, right? But for father, father is giving the Y chromosome to boy, X to girl. So the sex is determined by the father. The father, which chromosome is father giving? When the chromosome passed is Y, then only it will be a son. If the X is got, it will be a daughter. So females have XX chromosome, males have XY chromosome, and father determine the sex of the child. This is very, very important. And how normal number of chromosomes are maintained in the progeny. So you already understood now. So every germ cell is taking one chromosome from each pair. So maternal or paternal, the one chromosome is got. Okay, so X cell is getting one among the pair, one chromosome. And also sperm cell among the pair, one. So what happened? When the fusion occur, the chromosome pair is restored in baby. When two gel cells combine, they will restore the normal number of chromosomes in the progeny, ensuring the stability of the DNA of the species. Now, next one more, the variation. What is variation? So, you already understood now. When so variation refers to the observable difference in the character. Variation means what? Variety. The change in the character. Physical appearance. So, you know, all human beings, there is some difference in the physique, right? Even the behavior. Physiological functions also. Among the individuals of the same species, if we take the human beings, each one is unique. Why? Due to variation. This is by the genetic and environmental factors. So these difference can be inherited or acquired. Inherited means we got genetically. Acquired means we adapted or we learned and keep them. So variation help in the survival as well as evolution. Variation arises due to sexual reproduction and mutation. So thank you for watching my video. Any doubt you can just comment. Thank you.